Mommy, why'd you just scramble my Rubik's Cube? I can't solve it. How do you do this? Is it this way? I don't know what to do. I'll try to get the first layer. It's not a first layer. What do I do? Oh no, I'm probably gonna throw this away. Goodbye, Rubik's Cube. I don't like you. Okay, now PLL. Wait, what did somebody say? He's gonna throw out the Rubik's Cube? Not gonna happen, because in this video, I'm gonna teach you how to solve the 3x3 Rubik's Cube. Okay, thank you for giving me the cube, but first, before you learn how to solve it, you have to know move notation. So start with the move notation. So the move notation is basically how to turn the cube, and we'll start with the right layer. So the right layer is the right layer up, so like this. You can practice it by doing it like 3 times to memorize which way the right layer goes. It's not down. If it was down, it would have been R prime, which is the opposite of R. And then let's go into the left layer. The left layer is the opposite of the right, so it's going to be this layer down. Then let's go into the top layer. The top layer is going to be clockwise. And then the bottom layer is going to be the opposite of the top layer. It's going to be the bottom layer anti-clockwise. Then we have this layer, which is the front layer, which goes clockwise, which is this way. And the back layer, which is back here, is the opposite of the front layer, which goes like this. It's the anti-clockwise. And now if you see something like F prime, that means it's the opposite of like F. So F is clockwise, but if we said F prime, it would have been the front layer anti-clockwise. If you said R prime, it would have been the right layer down. If you said L prime, it would have been the left layer up. If you said U, it would have been U prime. If you said U prime, it would have been the top layer anti-clockwise. And if you said D prime, it would have been the bottom layer clockwise. And now let's go on to solving the cube. So let's look at what the process looks like. So when you're solving the cube using the beginner's method, first you'll solve the daisy, then the white cross, then you'll solve, let me quickly solve the first layer. Then you'll solve the first layer, which is basically the white side. Then you'll go on to solving the second layer. Wait, let me quickly finish this up. After that, you'll have to, after you're done with the 2 layers, you'll have to do the yellow cross. Then you have to flip all the corners. Not using this algorithm, it's just to speed it up a bit. Then you have to do the last layer, and then you'll be done from there. Let me quickly finish up the last layer. And the algorithms that I'm using right now, we are not going to be using for PLL. These are like more advanced algorithms. Boy! So now we will start solving it. So let's go on to making the daisy. So making the daisy is, I already told you, all these white edges up here, and they have to match with these centers. So putting one edge should be really simple. Maybe it's already here. But if it's something like up here, you have to put it in this, say, green slot or green center, right? So you can do intuition. You can use intuition, but if you don't have an intuition, here's an algorithm if there's a case like this. I just made it up. So it's U, then F2. So F2 is when you see something like U, and if there's a 2 next to it, that means you have to do it 2 times. Just FYI. All right, so we have these 2 done. But now we have these somewhere on the cube. So see, this is the orange, which is supposed to go in here, and this is the red, white, which is supposed to go in here. So let's try to take it out. If it's stuck in here, we'll try to make the daisy, try to make the match. We'll use this algorithm to take it out of this spot. So it's L prime, U prime, L. That's it. And now you can just insert it, then do F2. Then you have this last edge, and if you're not convenient with the left version, with this one, you can do the right version, which is R, U, R prime, U prime, and then put it in. So if you don't understand how to do the daisy, just mess around with it for a bit until you finally understand how to do it. And then you can just do R2, L2, it doesn't matter, just do, you can do F2 to bring it back so the cross is solved. So after the cross is solved, we have to go on to making the first layer. So once you solve your cross, you have to have it at the bottom so you can put in your corners more easily. So when you're putting in the corners, it's mostly intuitive because a lot of people just ramble and just do stuff like this and just try to put them in randomly, and they always match. But when you know a corner doesn't match, this is what a matched corner looks like, when the green matches with the green and the orange matches with the orange. But how to know when a corner is not matching is when, for example, like this. So green is not supposed to match with green, or orange not supposed to match with green, and blue is not supposed to match with orange. So that's how you know it's not a correct corner. It's a correct corner when it matches with the color beside the corners. And the white has to be facing down as well, just FYI. And let's go into the 3 corners that we have to put in because we already have 1 corner. And this is a situation that a lot of people don't understand. So this is when this corner, or any other corner, is at the bottom layer. And for example, we have to put it in this slot. But you don't know how to get it out. How to get it out is you do the same algorithm that we used in our daisy making. We're making the daisy. It's R, U, R prime, U prime. Or you can do the left version, which is L prime, U prime, L, U. So either one of those will get the corner out. But if you're more convenient with the right one, go for the right one. But if you're more convenient with the left one, go for the left one. So just take the corner out using that algorithm. And you can basically put it in using intuition. But if you don't have intuition, if this corner is here and has to go in here, you do U prime, L prime, U, L. That's how to put it in. So you have 2 corners. It doesn't matter if it's diagonally, if it's next to this. It just has to have 2 corners. We just have to have 2 corners. And now we have the last 2 corners left. So if you have this case, that means you can do L prime, U prime, L, which puts this corner in. And now we have the last corner to go. And also, when you do that algorithm, you can also do U, R, U, U prime, R prime. There you go. So you can do the right version or the left version. Doesn't really matter. Just put that corner in. And now the last corner should be somewhere around the cube. Maybe it's here like this, or it's here like this. It doesn't matter. You just have to put it in to this last slot. So if it's facing you like this, you can do this algorithm. It's U prime, L prime, U, L. So that was solving the first layer. But there is a case like this, when the corner is facing up. So this white's facing up. So how to do? You can do a algorithm, which I invented actually. It's L prime U to L. There you go. Now you have this corner here. But this is the right version of putting it in. So you do U2, and then you do R, U prime, R prime. That's it. You made your first layer. Now let's go into making the second layer. Boy! So after you're done making your first layer, you have to make the second layer. So making the second layer is not like the first layer. You do not put corners in. You put edges in. So when you know when an edge matches, when it matches like this. So the orange matches with orange and the blue matches with blue. But this is not an intuitive layer to do. There actually is 2 algorithms to put the corners, the edges into the right slots. So putting them into the right slots, it depends on where it needs to go. If it needs to go to the right, it has orange here, and it has to go in here because orange is here. So to do that algorithm, we have to do U, R, U prime, R prime, turning cube to the right, U prime, L prime, U, L. So basically that's putting the edge in. But let's see if we can have the left version. Let's see. No, let's take that out again. There you go. Now I have the left version. So the left version is a mirror to the right version, except it's a little bit different. So you do U prime, L prime, U, L, turning cube to the left instead of the right. U, L, or sorry, not L prime, R, U prime, R. So that's basically putting it to the left slot. Now we have the last 2 edges to put in after you put these 2 in. So they may be, this is a case where you think it matches here. You're like, oh, this already matches, that's cool. But this doesn't match here. So how to take it out of the slot, you either do the right algorithm, which is this one, the right one to put in the right slot, or you do the left one, doesn't really matter. And now you have to do, maybe you have to do the left, you have to put in the left slot or the right slot. So just use those 2 algorithms to put them in. And let's go on to making the yellow cross. Boy! So now we're done with the second layer, and let's go on to making the yellow cross. So making the yellow cross, you have to have all of these edges, or yeah, all these edges. Maybe it's the cross is already made, maybe all these 4 edges are flipped, maybe only 2 edges are flipped, or maybe 3 edges are flipped. So when you have 2 edges flipped, it's called the line. You have to do F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime, and that solves your cross. But that's not the only version. You may have this case where these, actually not 3, but 2 are flipped. So to flip them, you have to do the same algorithm, F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime, to get the line, and then do that same algorithm, and you're done with the cross. But there's one last case. Let me get to it real quick. So this last case is kind of rare for beginner's method, but you have all these 4 edges flipped. And also, while you're solving the cross, these corners don't have to matter when they're pointing at, because we're going to be taking out the corners later. We're going to be taking care of them later. So just do that algorithm. It's F, R, U, so it's F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. And then put it in like this. F, and then do that same algorithm until you finally get your cross. So now let's go on to flipping the corners to make the 3rd layer. Boy! So now we have to make the 3rd layer, but when you're making the 3rd layer, these corners don't have to match. So you see this one's matching, you're like, yay, but these are not matching. So you're trying to match them up with their respective color, but these ones break up. So just don't put a lot of thought into matching the corners, because we'll match them later after we make the 3rd layer. So making the 3rd layer, we have to flip these 3 corners, or maybe 4. Again, it just depends on how many corners you have to flip. So the corner flipping algorithm to flip all these corners, it's R prime, D prime, R, D. And just keep on doing that algorithm. But when you finish it, you can't just do that same algorithm again and again and again until you finally get to a loop of an infinity. You have to do U, and then do that same algorithm. I'll go on to this last corner. There. Those were the 3 corners. But you may have a situation where you have 4 corners. Well, it's a lot of corners, but it's the same algorithm. So it's that same algorithm. It doesn't matter how many corners you have. Just flip them using this algorithm. And let's quickly do this. And you may have 2 corners. It doesn't really matter how many corners you have. Just do that algorithm until you have all your edges flipped and you have the yellow layer solved. Now let's go into permuting the last layer. So after you're done making all your heads, or your headlights, sorry, not heads. After you're done making your headlight pairs, you have to permute these last edges. So there's different cases for permuting the edges, but we'll start off with the very first case that we got here. It's called the U-perm, and this is the U-perm to put this one into the right slot. So the U-perm consists of one side being solved here, and you have these final 3 edges to put in. So you know you have to put in the right slot when this is red, and this is the red side. So you have to put in the red slot, or the red slot which is on the right. So you do this algorithm. It's R, U prime, R, U, R, U, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, R2. So that was permuting it to the left slot. But if you want to permute it to the left slot, where you have this case, you have to put in the orange slot, which is on the left. It doesn't really matter if you don't have to put in the orange slot. Maybe the orange side is solved and you have to put in the left slot on a different color. Just do this left algorithm, which is basically a mirror. So it's the same movements, but it's kind of not. It's on the left side. So it's L prime, U, L prime, U prime, L prime, U prime, L prime, U, L, U, L2. So that was the U perm. Now let's go on to the H perm and the Z perm. First we'll do the H perm. So the H perm is when you have all your sets of headlights, but you have these 4 edges need to be permuted. So an H perm is when this red edge piece, this red yellow edge piece needs to go in here, and this orange yellow edge piece has to go in here, and same for these. So it's how to switch them around. You do the algorithm. It's M2U, or I actually forgot to mention the M moves. So the M when I was doing the move notations. M is the middle layer down, and then M prime is the middle layer up. So do this algorithm. It's M2 U, M2 U2, M2 U, M2. So that was the H perm. Now let's go into the Z perm. Wait, no. Let me quickly get into the Z perm. So the Z perm may be, you have to put these edges diagonally. So this one has to go in here, this one has to go in here. So how to put them in the right slots, and do not hold it like this. Then we'll put that in there and cancel into an H perm. You have to hold it like this. So the red, or whatever color it is, maybe it's orange or, it's orange or red. So to put this, you have to put it in to the right slot. So this is the red, yellow edge piece, and this is the red side. So I have to put in the red slot. So do the algorithm. It's M prime, U. Yeah, it's U. Wait, no. This is U. M prime, U prime, M2 U, M2 U, M prime, U2, M2 U. So that was the Z perm. See, you don't have to throw away your cube. Thank you for teaching me how to solve it. You're the best. And if you believe those words, you can support this video by liking, subscribing, turning on notifications, and leaving random questions in the comments that you want to ask me. See y'all next time. Cubing Nerd out.